morning, good morning, good morning. It's your girl, Becky D. You guys, we are live on this beautiful Monday morning. Just wanted to go ahead and preempt that this is the last day of July, in case you were not aware of that, okay? And tomorrow starts August, which is our health and wealth month. So come back religiously Monday through Friday during the month of August as I give you tips and motivation in order to get your health as well as your wealth under control. And hopefully, after that month, you're able to keep it going. Okay. But today, hopefully, you all did go ahead and check out my social media. So you saw that today we're actually talking about history. Um, and that plays a lot into the topics that I have been covering on this podcast. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. This is the motivation that you did not know you needed. And today I'm going to give you a little bit more motivation, okay? A lot of people don't realize that when we have mainstream media, there is opportunity to sway as well as adjust the narrative, okay? A lot of people believe that if we want something done, we need to notify the president. Well, while that's fine and dandy, and all these beautiful shows show that the president has such great power, start at your local legislation, okay? If there's a problem, go to your local legislation. Um, and I'm having a hard time saying that word, so I'm going to say officials from here on out. I'm honest with my mistakes in life. But what people don't realize is that they have more control and power, and they can bend and sway a little bit better than a president can. A president, of course, is a part of our three branches, and they have checks and balances. Now, we all know that checks and balances don't always balance like a checkbook, but they're there to make sure that no one is abusing their power. Now, while that would be beautiful at the local level, we don't have that. So there's a lot of chance and opportunity for those things to be abused, aka the most controversial thing you ever hear me say on this podcast, Florida. All right. Florida is going through a rough time right now. I would like to say it's their time of the month, and they have just the worst cramps that they can't seem to get rid of, call their governor. I don't usually talk about people in that manner or anything, but honestly, he's kind of done it to himself, right? Now, just a little bit of positivity now, all right? I remember there was a flood that happened in South Carolina. I want to say it was 2018. It was October, so it was a very awkward time. And the again, I'm a country girl, so our road pretty much evaporated because of all the water. And that left with us not being able to get off the road once the other roads had cleared. So it was a big mess. Pretty much in a nutshell, the county officials said that it was a state problem. The state said no, it was a county problem. City wasn't thrown into it because it's in the country, and they were like, we know we ain't got nothing to do with this. And so they kept going back and forth. I had to look at my mom, and it was like, Mom, we have power. And I was like, why are you confused about this? Why are you still going back and forth between these two entities that seem like they don't know who's, responsible for this? So I pretty much had to remind her, like, Mom, like, what are you doing? We hold a power, that not too many people can say that they have. So I pretty much, told her, hey, reach out to our elected official, because we have had plenty of conversations and just face to face. We found out so much about each other, like literally sat down conversations. I got to meet his wife and, his family, and they're all real down to earth people. So she calls his office, nothing personal, no personal line, because this is business matters. And so, told him what was going on, and he was like, no worries. We'll have that all resolved for you by the end of the week. And sure enough, he one-upped us. He sent the county and the state out there, and one person, one entity fixed up to a certain point, and then the other entity fixed up to the other point. But what I'm saying is you actually possess the power when you have local elected officials, okay? So my suggestion to you is when it's only a local election going on and not just presidential, all right? When it's the local election going on, go vote. Go see what they're actually about, all right? I think Florida learned a hard way about going and doing that. A lot of people were on board with him, but we got to know a lot of politicians lie, okay? Just like a lot of people lie in our lives. We have a lot of liars. Y'all got to be careful out there, all right? So just keep that in mind, that the politicians, a lot of them do like to lie. I have a family friend who's deep into the political world. Not sure if he's in it anymore because of some stuff that came out, but he literally told me, he was like, man, let me tell you, once I crossed that threshold, it is a whole different world. He was like, I cuss more, and he was like, it's beep this and beep that, and he's like, it's just a mess. And then he told me, he was like, but I love it. And I was like, I no doubt you do. I think something a little wrong with you. I'm not gonna lie. But he understood that world changed him and that it became a whole system in a game. You know what I'm saying? It was like playing the PlayStation with an Xbox controller. You got to learn how to rig it up some kind of way to make sure that it can work for you. But he did his thing. He was still about the people. I always try to make sure he was humbled and stay down to earth. Like, hey, remember where he came from, bro. Do not act like you're higher than us right now, right? And that's what a lot of people sense. When they get that sense of power, they automatically think, okay, you know what? This is who I am. This is where I am at, that kind of thing. And they have to understand you're still human. You still have constituents that you have to listen to or, take into consideration when you're making decisions. Okay. Again, looking at Florida, Tennessee ain't off the hook either now. Tennessee's not. Tennessee has made some huge mistakes as well. But Florida has been more mainstream because they know that is a tourism state, right? If you're unsure what a tourism state is, that's where a lot of people go and take vacations and travel. I mean, they're right there on the water. They have several ports of entry and exit for not only international shipping, but international cruises, like you name it, they are the mainstream. They have international flights there. Like, it's mainstream marketing. They got Disney, okay? Disney, Universal, and there's another one that nobody really talks about. I think it's Legoland. Yeah, that sounds right. Legoland, okay? They have mainstream attractions, things that people actually want to come to and show up for and enjoy. Now, this is the crazy part. They keep messing with what I am going to, refer to you as easy money, okay? They are literally doing all of these things, giving Florida a bad name, and the citizens have to suffer. When he went after Disney, that was a big no-no. My suggestion to you, whenever you're about to go up against somebody, know their credentials, know their history, know what powers they have and what they're capable of, all right? I'm using them as an example right now to talk about this thing. The history will show you that people who've tried to mess with Disney in the past have came up short every single time. This is a chance for you to learn from history, okay? While I like to learn from history and past mistakes and things I've done, I like to learn from other people's mistakes and things they've done a whole lot better, right? If you're not understanding what I'm saying is, people have already made the mistake. Watch them, learn from them, don't do it again. So that is, definitely something that you should always think about. If someone else has already done it, I need to learn from that. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to put it in a book format, all right? Recently, I just found the library again. If you know me, I'm not a huge fan of them. But I've just found the library again. And literally, the amount of books that people don't really check into and check out and stuff is shocking. They need to read up on local history. I've found several books on local history for where I'm at, and it's just astonishing at the things that has happened there. One of the places that I had the honor of working at was historically known for being an orphanage at one point. The name alone had to change because of the whole Confederate situation, but there is this building there that has nothing growing around it. Mind you, this thing is ancient, okay? Buildings are falling down. It's no longer able to be saved by the historical committee. And there's only one house where nothing grows around it. Literally, no weeds, no ferns, nothing. And all the other buildings have been taken over. You can't even see them anymore. And it's called the Daughter's Cabin or Cottage. I'm sorry, something like that. And when you look into the history and you read more about it, it makes sense why when you go into certain rooms, you feel a little uneasy. But if I never read the history, I'd just be like, oh, that's weird. Start thinking about environmental things and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with the environment. It has everything to do with the history. And the fact that they continue to leave that place open is shocking. But what I'm saying is someone's already done it. Someone's already wrote it. Leave it where it's at. Now, one of the biggest things with history that unfortunately Florida is trying to do again is rewrite it, recreate it, change the narrative. I would not change the narrative on history because then some important key facts are being left out. No matter how ugly, no matter how horrible it is, history is history. The past is the past. All right. When it is written with blood, in blood, and by blood, it is rooted deep into people's culture as well as their history. Okay? That is the folklore stories. I cannot talk. That they tell. It is in the songs they sing. It is in the way they design their hair. It is in the way of life for them. And to try to change that really forces the hand of a lot of people. Now, I understand that a governor is trying to run for president now as well. I do not foresee that going through all the way. But if he does get past, this preliminary stuff, then, kudos. That means he does have a following. Every dog has a fan in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, every person running has a committee behind them that is just diehards. And they love everything they do. Well, that's great. I'm not bashing him. I'm just saying that's great. As long as you got somebody who can follow you to a T. Not too many people are happy because, they're losing workers and they're losing money. And now, Disney's saying, great, you pay your own taxes and they're a little heartbroken, but they'll follow you. The thing is, when we try to change the history, when we try to change the past, it's going to come back at us. It's going to slap us in the face because we've tried to change the history. So now history can have room to repeat itself. All right. And I'm going to take my uncle, for example. He's no longer with us, but he embraced his past. He understood it. He did not like it, but he was able to use it as a platform and a foundation for him to try to get other people off of what they were doing. All right. He was comfortable enough to share his story. He wasn't shy about it. He was upset by it, but he allowed that to fuel him to be the better version of himself before he left us. All right. And if you ask me, that is what we should be doing. We should let it fuel us to be the better versions of ourselves rather than like, hey, let's change that part because we didn't like it. It makes us look bad. It does this. It does. No. Leave history as it is. Learn from it, grow from it, help it fuel you to be the best version of you out there. All right. That's what I try to do every day. And that's what I'm passing on to you. All right. I do apologize about my lack of speech this morning. It seems like my tongue is all twisted and tied for some reason, but it's okay. Because the biggest message I want you to get is that you do not need to rewrite. You do not need to take away. You do not need to simplify or modify or give any more translations out there than the Bible, okay? If you look it up, the Bible has probably over 1,000 different translations now, and I can't keep up with which is which. But the thing is, you need to embrace the words, learn from the meanings and the definitions, and read between the lines, okay? So much history out there, so much to be uncovered, so much to be discovered, and we only give them the smaller pieces because we're afraid of giving them the big bites that they are able to chew, but it's just a tough reality, okay? So it reminds you of like some jerky, all right? Take the history in your life. Don't try to rewrite it to make your story sound good. Write it for exactly what it is. Learn from it, embrace it, and let it motivate you, because people will see that and they will want to know your story. And as you tell them your story, they'll be like, wow, you've been through some stuff. Wow, you've done some things. You are truly a pioneer and you are truly bettering yourself now. I know several people who've done harsh drugs and now they live to tell that story. They live to tell people that, you know what, that's not the route you want to go and that's not what you want to do. So make sure that you're pressing on and you're doing the things that you need to do. And sometimes we need to hear that because we can't see it in the moment, but that person becomes a mentor. And then that mentor is able to, get you out. Then you're being a mentor and you're helping people out and the cycle continues. Okay. But it's a positive cycle versus a negative cycle. If she would have said, well, I personally never did all that stuff, but I guess I can help you. And then there's some guessing into it, right? And there's not anything true to look forward to because you told the fib of your story. No, you did those drugs. Own up to it and then say, let me help you out the way I can. It may not work completely for you, but I'm here as a support system for you. All right. Just talking it through, navigating, and just being respectful and honest can get you so much further than trying to recreate anything in a history book. All right. You guys, hopefully you grabbed something that you needed from that. If not, drop me a line, all right, on my social media at Beck Dave Productions. Go ahead. Let me hear about it. Okay. I'm an open book. I'm an honest person and I love feedback. So please, please, please let me know. Okay. If you liked what you heard today, even if you didn't, share it with a friend and just, have them laugh at it for today or have them be motivated by it today. Please tune in tomorrow as we start the Health and Wealth Month. And as always, my name is Becky D with Becky D in the Morning, and I will talk with you all tomorrow morning.